Hey everybody, AndroidCentral.com, and we are looking at the HTC ThunderBolt, Verizon's first 4G LTE smartphone. And as you can see here, it is a pretty big beast. We're just going to give you a quick look around the device and show you some stuff on the device itself, some of the bits on the screen and how fast it is and so on. So we'll start with the basics. Big speaker grille, our standard 4 rows of buttons, a 1.3 megapixel VGA front-facing camera, our 4.3 inch WVGA display, volume rocker. On the back we've got dual LED flash, an 8 megapixel camera, looks like microphones for noise cancellation, power, headphone jack. Here's our port for power. Here is the speaker, which is cleverly put beneath this kickstand. What isn't so clever though is when you set it on the kickstand, you may notice that the power jack is underneath, and so you can't charge it while it's up on the kickstand, which is completely annoying. We'll take off the battery cover here to show you the innards. The clever things here, the vibrate motor is exposed and you can actually see it rotate when you do the haptic feedback. We'll pull the battery out here, and we will show you that the micro SD card is up here. It is a nice big 32 gigabyte whopper of a card, and then the SIM card for LTE is hidden in there. And so far as we can tell, the only easy way to turn off LTE and make it only work on 3G is to pull the SIM card out. We haven't been able to find a setting to actually turn LTE off, which is actually pretty annoying. So we'll start the boot process up here. I promise we'll start the boot process up here. There we go. It's got a 1 gigahertz Snapdragon CPU. It's got HTC Sense, of course, Dolby and SRS surround. That camera, 8 megapixel on the back, also does 720p recording, DLNA streaming, Android 2.2. Let's compare it to the other big dog, the original, the Evo 4G on Sprint, and as you can see, they have very similar sizes. The Thunderbolt's actually just a little bit thicker, a little bit more rounded on the back as well. You can tell they're definitely both HTC devices. There's the boot sound, which, come on, that's kind of cool, right? So once this thing is booted up, we'll be able to give you a closer look at how it actually performs. But again, here it is next to the Evo, and as you can see, very, very similar. The Thunderbolt, I guess they're about the same weight. The Thunderbolt feels a little bit heavier to me. It's definitely a hefty phone. So it's preparing the SD card, so we'll just give it a moment to get caught up to the world. I wanted to do a 4G speed comparison between the Thunderbolt and the Evo 4G. However, Sprint's WiMAX network, as WiMAX tends to do, is completely unable to penetrate my building here, even though I've got huge windows. Apparently hurricane-proof windows aren't friendly to WiMAX. But I have no problems getting LTE in here, which is actually pretty exciting. You guys love to look at settings, so why don't we do that? Taking a look here, when we go into wireless and networks, you'll see you've got all your standard stuff, but again, no way to easily turn off LTE. You can go to internet connection mode for USB tethering. It also does mobile hotspot for up to 8 devices over LTE, which is really exciting. And the guys at the Verizon store told me that they're offering it for free for all Thunderbolt users for a limited time, which is actually pretty cool. And let's go down to the really nerdy stuff and applications. That all looks the same. You can turn fast boot off, which it currently is, in order to, sorry for all those alerts there, in order to have the thing boot faster, which is pretty neat. And we'll go to About Phone, and let's take a look at software information. Android 2.2.1, there you go. Alright, so now we're up on the 4G LTE network, which is pretty exciting. I have fully cleared the cache and the history and everything on this device, so you're going to get a straight up experience of what it is like to load Android Central. If I can type it properly. You can see the default keyboard here is HTC Sense's keyboard. So here we go. And there's Lloyd. This is loading the full page. If you want to visit the mobile page of Android Central, you go to m.androidcentral.com. And I do promise we're working on auto detect. We're just not quite there yet. There we go. Now we're starting to get some content. And there, it's really coming in fast now. And you can see scrolling is actually pretty darn good. Double tap to zoom in. It reflows the text. Oh, maybe it doesn't yet. Yeah, this feels pretty darn good. Here we go. There's our reflow of the text. And there are just a million gajillion browser options in Android 2.2 here. Loading images, pop-up windows, turning off JavaScript. It's pretty crazy. Take a look at Flash performance here. Let's just go to Newgrounds. And we'll just try the first game. You can see it's got a little wait timer here. And then it's loading the Flash up. There's actually not a whole lot of flies on that. Well, Flash is, of course, the way Flash is always is on mobile. It works for playing video, for actually doing stuff. Not so good. There we go. Yeah, we're gonna let that go for now. Let's just give you a straight up speed test though. So it's grabbing the server list here. And let's begin the test. There's our latency test, which is actually worse than the last time I checked it here. There we go. And ooh, looks like 2.5 megabits, 2.7, 2.8. That is awfully good. And then the upload is bonkers. I don't actually think that's accurate. Give it one more shot here. Yeah, not as good that time. We'll try it one more time. So there you go. Not the beautiful, unbelievable new feature, but I mean, 3 megabits per second down. There's no complaints about that. It certainly performs better and more reliably than WiMAX on Sprint does in my testing, and way better than you know, AT&T's standard 3G. Almost 4G network. You know, your standard HTC Sense screen, you can see it performs really, really snappily. Let's see if we can just give you a quick comparison of how it conforms on the Evo. You know, not bad here either, but of course you can rearrange screens. In terms of built-in apps, there is a lot of junk here. There's good stuff like Blockbuster, but you know, BitBop, City ID, Let's Golf 2 is on board, Quick Lookup, Rhapsody, Rock Band. Some of these are the stuff that I pulled down, but most of this was pre-installed. VCast, VZ Navigator. Lots of extra junk on this thing. So there you go. This is the HTC ThunderBolt. Obviously, we are going to be doing nothing but talking about this on Android Central. Well, that's like we're going to be talking about all sorts of Android stuff on Android Central. But we're going to be giving special attention to this lovely device. So keep it locked for all sorts of news, information, and soon a full review. Thanks.